Part 8, The Purser's Office, Aboard Titanic, Wednesday, April 10, 1912. By the time Theo and Teddy made their way below, the first press of boarding had already begun to settle into order, and the movement through the ship carried less of the uncertain pause of arrival and more of the steady purpose that marked the beginning of duty. They entered upon E-deck and did not linger there. There was no need, both had been aboard the previous day, and the passages no longer felt strange to them, but merely new in the way of a place not yet fully learned. Theo glanced once along the corridor out of habit rather than necessity, and Teddy, keeping pace beside him, did not question the turn when it came. They climbed the companionway together, their steps measured and unhurried, moving with a quiet assurance that had not been there before, until they reached C-deck, where the space opened slightly and the great staircase rose nearby, its polished wood and brightwork catching the morning light with a calm and ordered brilliance. Neither boy paused, they had seen it already. Theo turned toward the purser's office, and Teddy followed without hesitation. Inside, several men stood gathered, their posture composed, their attention fixed not upon the room itself but upon those entering it, and at their head stood Mr. McElroy, straight-backed, exact in bearing, with that same measured stillness that seemed to hold the whole room in quiet order. As the boys stepped forward, his gaze settled upon them. "Turner, Parker." The greeting was brief, but not without recognition. "Sir," Theo answered. Teddy echoed him a moment later. Mr. McElroy inclined his head slightly, then turned to the others. "These are the boys I spoke of." He gestured first to a man of middle years, whose broad mustache gave him a kindly aspect despite the formality of his dress. "Assistant Purser Mr. Barker." Mr. Barker gave a small, courteous nod, his expression open and not unwelcoming. "Second Purser Mr. Kane." A younger man stepped forward just enough to be acknowledged, his face keen, his gaze sharp behind it, as though little of what passed before him would go unnoticed. Then, Purser's Clerk Mr. Parker. At the name, Mr. McElroy paused a fraction. "Parker and Parker," he said, his tone dry. "Any relation?" "No, sir," Teddy replied at once. "None, sir," Mr. Parker added, though the faintest hint of amusement touched his voice. Mr. McElroy regarded them both for a moment. "Then you will both answer to the name Parker," he said. "It will be for you to determine which of you I address." "Yes, sir," they said together. That seemed to satisfy him. He moved on. Junior Purser's Clerk Mr. Walker. A fair-haired young man, not much beyond 20, inclined his head, though not without a trace of easy confidence, and as he did so he gave the boys a brief, knowing wink that sat curiously against the formality of the room. Theo noted it. Then, last, Miss Bridewell. For a moment, Theo thought he had misheard. Beside him, Teddy shifted ever so slightly, a woman stood among them, composed, upright, her manner entirely proper, though there was about her a firmness that did not invite question. The boys exchanged the briefest glance. Mr. McElroy continued as though nothing were out of the ordinary. "You are the staff of the purser's office for first class," he said. "You will perform your duties promptly and with proper conduct at all times." His gaze passed over them all, then returned, briefly, to Theo. "Mr. Turner, I am already acquainted with your work aboard the Olympic." Theo straightened slightly. "Yes, sir, you will act as leading bellboy," Mr. McElroy continued. "Your duties will include pantry service, tea and coffee here, and to the bridge as required." "Yes, sir." It was not a title he had expected to hear spoken aloud, though Theo gave no sign of it. Mr. McElroy's eyes shifted then to Miss Bridewell. "If Mr. Turner is otherwise occupied, the pantry will fall to you." There was no hesitation in his tone. Miss Bridewell inclined her head. "Of course, sir." Theo thought he detected the faintest tightening in her expression, so slight it might have been missed entirely, had he not been looking for it. Mr. McElroy did not remark upon it. Instead, he continued, "You will attend crew muster at 10 o'clock. "Yes, sir," came the reply. "For the present, you have my permission to retire to your quarters." He reached to the desk and took up a key, which he handed first to Theo, who accepted it with both hands. "See that you are ready." "Yes, sir." There was nothing more. Theo stepped back, Teddy beside him, and together they turned from the office, the quiet order of it closing once more behind them. In Theo's hand, the key lay cool and solid, a small thing, and yet one that marked, more clearly than any words, that he had crossed into something new.